else have the craftiest computer, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coffee Cast here on the Amateur Tuesday Night edition. We are going to be having a PvZ in this matchup, and I am not alone tonight. I am not alone. With me, I have casting LightKite.
Hi, guys.
He says hi. He says hi. Now, in the bottom left, well, actually, kind of the bottom, we have AciesPure spawning as the teal Protoss player. We've seen a few games out of Pure. He is a very strong Protoss. And in the top center, we have CerealKiller, who has a very interesting name. Yes, he does. So, we don't really know much about CerealKiller. I did look him up. He is a diamond player. We are going to have pretty much a diamond level player versus a diamond level player. Should be fun. So, how do you feel about PvZ, LightKite? Do you like PvZ, or I don't know. Personally, I love PvZ. It's my favorite.
I usually enjoy a lot of any games with Zerg mostly. I find them very interesting to watch. As far as PvZs go, I haven't seen much. I haven't played much, but most of them I see they're usually well played. The Protoss usually does a lot more of a micro game in order to keep up with the correct?
Indeed.
I'm not really sure. I always see in Zerg versus Protoss a Roach, Hydra, Brood Lords. And then I usually see with Protoss a Mothership, Stalker, Colossus, Zealot, I believe.
You gotta love that Mothership play. Very popularized by KiwiKaki. And if anybody out there does not like KiwiKaki, you are insane because he is such a fun player to watch.
Yeah, you can go punch yourself in the face if you don't like it.
We do have a hatchery first coming out of CerealKiller, dropping his spawning pool immediately after. And a photon cannon coming up from AciesPure. I don't think he realized that he could actually have done a Nexus first, but that is not too big of a deal. Now, I do want to mention, Terminus is such a big map. Think of Tal'Darim Altar, and then make it a little bit bigger even. So, that's really going to favor macro play on this map. And I think that we can all agree, macro games are just fun to watch. Macro games are just fun to watch. Now, in your opinion, LightKite, do you think a macro game on a map this size, keep in mind the size of the map so you can't really rush across or have, really fast creep spread reinforcements, do you think a macro game would favor a Protoss more or favor a Zerg more on this map?
I'm thinking probably Protoss with this map. Zergs have to really spread out their creep a lot to get that major reinforcement. Bases are pretty far spread out. There's three, maybe four if you count. One down here right by the base. But other than that, they're mostly pretty far spread out. Protoss, I feel like, would do better on a more of a micro game than a Zerg, in order to more defend themselves, protect themselves. Don't have to worry about super hard pushes on them.
Indeed.
You can check, but I'm pretty much thinking that Protoss has the advantage in this map.
I would really agree with that because right here, I know you can't see what I'm looking at, but everybody else can. Right here, you have the main base, and then the natural, and the third is really, really easy for both players to secure. The third is really easy for both players to secure. However, if either player wants to take a fourth base, you have to kind of push out of that comfort zone a little bit, and you're a little bit out in the open in that case. And for a Zerg player, you always want to be on one base ahead of your opponent, and to get that fourth base is really difficult, and for a Protoss to secure their third is really easy. So I would agree, I would definitely give the favor to our Protoss player on this map. Now we do have +1 weapons on the way. Once again, so important for Protoss as it does allow them to kill those Zerglings in 2 hits. Overlords just flying around, the pretty pink Overlords. Harvester's actually exactly the same right now. Rather surprising. A lot of drones. We haven't really seen a big drone-up series from CerealKiller yet, which once again on a map this size is kind of interesting. We don't even have Zerglings taking down these side rocks over here.
It is pretty interesting. You haven't seen them take down the rocks. fast expansion since it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he does have the Zerglings out, doesn't he? It's awesome.
Yeah, well, actually, he only has 2 Zerglings out on the field. I was mistaken on that. And we do have an Evolution Chamber out. Not really going to do too much with that, though, as there are no Dark Templar on the field. Unless he's looking to go upgrades, but there's only 1 Evolution Chamber. We do have a Twilight Council now finished with Blink on the way, so it looks like we might be seeing some Blink harass by AciesPure. And that Blink harass really good, especially if you can get a robotics facility and get an observer, and then you can scout up on this high ground. If you can see this little corner off of AciesPure's CerealKiller's main base, you can blink up to that high ground and have easy access to harass the main for a little bit.
It is something you see a lot with Pure. I've noticed lately in a lot of his games, he does enjoy his blink play. He does it a lot in PvP, I see. He's good at it. He knows how it works. I've played once in Blink. Actually, I played against him twice doing Blink. Once on the stream and once on someone else's account, just for fun. And he's pretty good. I believe he can handle it and do really well.
Yes, he does have some pretty nice Blink micro. Now, we do finally have some Zerglings taking down those rocks in CerealKiller's 3rd base. And a lot of static defenses. There are 6 spine crawlers at the front of CerealKiller. So it looks like he's just going to be looking to do some defensive 3-base play. However, we also have AciesPure taking down his 3rd base rocks. 3-base versus 3-base. That's a little iffy. That is a little bit iffy. We do have the robotics facility now on the way for AciesPure, which once again will allow him to get that observer that he will need to scout the high ground to blink up into CerealKiller's base. And really just to scout around and see whatever he wants. Aspire is now finishing up. And with that, he'll be able to do some Mutalisk play, maybe some Mutalisk harass into the 3rd, into the main, because most of that army is going to be caught down in the natural.
Yeah, we do have 13 being produced right now. I believe it's actually Aspire Day to do that. It gives him, he can move faster, get more map control with it. Since it's such a big map, having that fast.
Keep talking for a moment as I am trying to solve some microphone issues that we are having right now.
Really?
Yes.
People don't like my voice? Let's see how it is.
People don't like my voice. My voice is too loud.
Yeah, it is true. No one likes to hear you talk to them. Be quiet.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. I love you. I would kiss you right now.
Thank you.
Kiss my computer instead.
Now we do have a Mutalisk ball flying around on the right side. Now they look to go to the 3rd base, but there is nothing there right yet. And in the meantime, the Stalker and Sentry ball was moving out on the map. Now it's having to fall back as there is nothing left to defend all of these probes. Mutalisk getting a lot of kills here. A couple of Stalkers are morphed in to try to deal with that, but 2 Stalkers just not enough. These Mutalisks right now have free reign before these Stalkers can get back and really help out in this engagement. And there is the blink up, taking out a lot of these Mutalisks. A lot of Mutalisks fall, but a lot more probes fell. 13 workers killed in that engagement, not to mention all of the lost mining time. That was a very nice move for CerealKiller. He definitely took a bit of a lead in that, as his harvester advantage has now jumped from 58 to 38 as 11 drones are being morphed in right now.
Yeah, that is most definitely something that Zerg players should keep doing. Just keep pushing, harassing, keeping his player probably pulled back right now, because Pure has a pretty nice army right now to deal with that Mutalisk ball. How many Stalkers is that? I can't click on them all. I gotta select them all.
You can always hit U to see your units tab. And he currently has 13 Stalkers on the field in comparison to the 10 Mutalisks.
Yeah. So most definitely right now as the army goes, Pure is in the lead, but as we know right now, the workers, his economy is a little down, so...
66 to 42 workers, as we see in the income tab. Yes, that is really bad for a Protoss player, especially with the supply discrepancy. There are 20 more workers on the field, so that evens up the army supply. Oh my goodness, take a look at the front of CerealKiller's base. What do you see there? I see a lot of spine crawlers. I see 11 spine crawlers.
You know, I just watched the game with Husky, who was casting the game. This was a PvZ, and he actually believes that the third player went so many spine crawlers to defend his wall that it was beautiful because pretty much he could just harass all day, and he did not have to worry about his base at all.
That is always nice.
He goes, you know, it might be too much, but the one thing is that he feels confident that he is safe. I think one of the biggest things is always feeling confident.
And I'm going to have to interrupt you real quickly here as we do have a Mutalisk Ball flying into the main of AciesPure. Managed to take out one pylon and a cannon and almost got a pylon that was powering at least one gateway. Actually, no, that pylon just getting down to 3 health, though. Very close. Mutalisk Ball sitting very menacingly outside that base. And over here on the right side of the map, we do have CerealKiller taking a hidden 4th base. Very nice placement for that, as once again, you don't really want to put it out in the open here, because that is very easy to spot and very easy to pick off. Now, over here, it is easy to spot. However, easy to pick off, but it is not easy to spot. So he does have one advantage in that right.
Yeah, that might be your best bet to take a ninja with your 4th expansion being easily taken. Being easily taken out, probably hard to defend. If Pure sees this, it might be a big issue, but you almost might be stream cheating to do that, whatever you call it.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, there's really no reason for Pure to go over there unless he's playing around with Warp Prisms a bit. Now, we do have 2 different clumps of Mutalisks. One are sitting outside the main on the left side, and the other is actually flying back up to deal with something. There is a pylon that was spotted, and that's what he's going out to go take out. That pylon will not be able to warp in anything now for Ire. Now, Pure is losing complete control over the map. There are Zerglings now at 2 of the watchtowers, and Mutalisks flying everywhere. And we do have a Warp Prism on the way now, almost completed. Storm did just complete, and a Stargate, which I don't really know if I like versus all of these Mutalisks.
Now, he is researching missile attack round for Zerg. Do you believe we might see some roaches out?
Ooh, and that Warp Prism just got picked off over at the 3rd base. And a beautiful storm going down on top of these Mutalisks. All the Mutalisks got hit by that. They are almost all into the half health with the exclusion of a single Mutalisk. That was a beautiful storm, defensive storm by AciesPure, and we have a fleet bacon down on the ground now. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we might be seeing a mothership in this matchup. Because let's be honest, who builds carriers?
You do?
I do. I love carriers. I actually love carriers, but they are not very good. Greater Spire about to finish, as well as 10 Corruptors. 5th base on the way now for CerealKiller. And AciesPure, if he does not try to lock down one of these 2 expansions, is going to fall behind very, very quickly. Now, if you look at the income tab, Pure has caught back up in the harvester count. It is now 73 to 62 harvesters, which means, yes, he is still behind a little bit, and yes, he is quickly running out of mining expansions, but for the moment, he's able to keep up, and once again, if he just pushes it out soon, he should be fine. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to point your attention to the natural expansion of AciesPure, where we have our mothership being warped in and chrono boosted.
Yeah, it's a good choice since Cereal is making Brood Lords. He's making total of, I don't see it on my screen, 7 right now for him. And as far as I've seen, I used to think Brood Lords were not a threat until I actually had a game against them, and they scare the crap out of me.
Yes, Brood Lords are absolutely terrifying. And if Erroneous is in the chat out there right now, I'd like to give a shout out to him, because anytime I do a LAN and we do like a free-for-all or something, he always is the last player to be attacked. And then when we finally do attack him, he has, you know, a 200 army of Broodlord Corruptor. And everybody's pretty much just dead at that point. Now, we do have an interesting little Mutaflock flying behind the Broodlord. It looks like a flock of confused seagulls. I'm going to be honest.
That is a beautiful mall of mutas.
You know what would be even more beautiful? Seeing a storm go down on top right on that ball right there.
Most definitely. We do know, Pure does know that Broodlords are out, since he is countering it with Archons. Yes, they're out right now. And the Mothership's out. Hello, Mothership.
He may be looking to do an Archon toilet, which could be very potent if he could just get... Oh my goodness, the Overlords are left undefended against the rest of the army. These Stalkers really need to blink forward, though, to take those out. And there goes the storm down on the Mutalisk. The Archons just making quick work of all of those Mutalisks. The Mothership goes down, but all the Mutalisks do as well.
Not my Mothership. My Mothership.
Now, these Broodlords are going to be cleaned up by these Blink Stalkers. A little bit of micro could be utilized here. There we go, to get them away from those Broodlings. And now the supply count, 200 for AciesPure, and only 124 out of 200 for CerealKiller. LightKite, it is looking mighty, mighty scary right now for CerealKiller.
But as we know as Zerg, they can just mass up a huge army. Look at Larva just sitting there in his base.
Oh my goodness, there is 2 pages of larva in his base, and he has the income to do stuff with it. He just isn't.
I think just wondering what he should spend on right now. Trying to figure out exactly what to do before he does it.
You know, I would agree with that statement, and I will counter with 2 things. One, he should build something, anything. Even okay, Zerglings are actually probably the worst option since there is Zealot Archon on the field. But the second thing I would like to point out, look at the army composition for AciesPure. Zealot, Stalker, and Archon. And here we see an engagement at the front of CerealKiller's base, going into all of those Spine Crawlers, and it's not going to do anything. There was a blink up on the ramp to try to take care of Broodlords, but there are too many Broodlords there, and all the Stalkers are just falling.
That is a lot of Broodlords out there. 6 of them. 6 Broodlords.
6 Broodlords on the high ground with 5 more morphing in. It might be enough to hold off here. It's going to be a really close matchup.
Blink right on top of them.
There was a very nice blink right underneath those Broodlords. That second set of Broodlords about halfway finished to spawning. Those really need to spawn sometime soon if he wants to have a chance in this matchup. Now these Archons are firing away at the Hive. That is the highest tech building that, oh my goodness, CerealKiller really needs to keep that alive. And a ton of Zerglings just spawn in right around those Stalkers, and the Stalkers are going to get surrounded immediately. Some Broodlords do fall. However, the Stalkers are going to be cleaned up, but I don't know, LightKite. I think I would still give this advantage to AciesPure as those Stalkers blink to the low ground and back up to the high ground. All of those Broodlords.
He already lost 1 expansion, 2. Well, pretty much it's just him putting. He does have these other 2 bases. It's just going to take way too long for reinforcements to get there since the map is so big.
Yes, and once again, this is what we were talking about earlier with this huge macro-style map. A 3-base Protoss is as many bases as you need, as Pure is showing right here. This is such a terrifying force, really. There's nothing CerealKiller can do in this case to be able to reinforce his army, and he's really lost almost all of his tech. And there's the GG from CerealKiller in this game. Too many expansions left, but it is not going to be enough to be able to clean up. So, in that game, I'd really say that the turning point was, I don't know, there was actually no one single turning point. There were 2 very, very close battles, and I guess I would have to give it to the Mothership, as I do not believe that there was any detection in the area when that Mothership was around. And once the Mothership was destroyed, the rest of the army for the Zerg player had been just decimated.
Yeah, that Mothership was a major factor. As you can see at the end, Pure was kind of just strolling around, producing another Mothership, which I love. Motherships. But, I believe as far as that map goes, I do think it was probably more of a Protoss map, just because of that easy 3rd expansion. I mean, it's so simple to take that 3rd, that you can keep up easily with the economy of a Zerg, and not have to worry about being behind the whole game. And since it's such a big map, it takes forever to get those reinforcements, and that he can just warp prisms and just have his units there in seconds.
Indeed. LightKite, thank you for joining us here on the Coffee Cast. I hope that you will be back on Thursday? On Thursday night to cast another game or play another game with us. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, if you would like to come in and be a guest caster, please let me know, because I'm about to set this next game up, and I will gladly get you in here. Once again, LightKite, any last words for us here?
I like pie, and I think Ben is attractive. If I could, I'd kiss you on the face.
Thank you very much, LightKite. Once again, it was a lot of fun to have you on here with us, and I hope to have you back on Thursday.
See you guys.